Yo, 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 welcome. Gotta turn the mic on, huh?
We're
not professionals here. Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy. And James, I am proud to announce our son, our podcast son, on none other than, I believe today's National Sons Day, on like Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, the year of our Lord. John James Luke is with us. I know it seems like forever ago that we recorded, but if you remember correctly, we recorded as the birth was happening.
Yes.
And that's only right that we record the podcast, and me and Luffy were sitting back. I think we had a couple glasses of whiskey to kind of celebrate the life of John James Luke. And I mean, what are the odds, right? What are the odds that our podcast son will be born as we're sitting here recording?
It was crazy. It was perfect timing. He came out. He's happy, healthy. He's adorable.
He's 1 foot tall. 1 foot 12 inches tall.
Wow. Were you in there?
Largest baby ever recorded at Women's Hospital.
And did you see Coach Kelly not only offered Kayshawn's son, but also little Crane Luke on the same day, or a couple days apart. But
who's Crane Luke?
I mean John James Luke. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's going to be incredible.
They'll be teammates at LSU.
Exactly. Class of 2040. Class of
2040. Yeah, 2040. Yeah, I think that's what I said, right?
I think if they, we'll have to ask Rory if he ran into Kayshawn walking out. I think Kayshawn had his child like a couple days before.
Yeah, a couple days before.
A couple days after. So maybe they ran into each other at the hospital. We'll have to ask him. But congratulations to Rory. We could not be more happy for you and Crane and Hannah and your whole family. Beautiful baby. We've seen some pictures, and Lovey's response was, "I've got to hold that kid. I've got to just hold him and meet him and all that." We haven't gotten to meet him in person because we didn't get to cut the umbilical cord, but we are going to meet him soon. Shout out to them. Very, very big news for the Lukes. In other news, though, we have some LSU football to talk about. I didn't want to steal Rory's spotlight last week when, he was having his kid and all that. But I have a little bit of special news that I got to participate in on Saturday. We'll do a recap of that. I'm not going to spoil it right now. We're going to briefly, for as long as we previewed the New Mexico game, we're going to recap the New Mexico game. And then this week's all about Auburn. First SEC road game of the year. LSU's fired up. We hope to be 4-1 coming back for the 11 a.m. kickoff in Tiger Stadium against Tennessee. But we're going to air our grievances about that. We're going to talk a little strategy, a few injuries, basically kind of an update on where the program is right now and what we expect to see. Tough stretch coming up in the next 3 weeks. We go to Auburn. We got Tennessee coming back at home, and then we head to Florida. So lots of football to get to, but before we get to all that, I want to give a huge shout-out to Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. I actually have a lot of awesome news to share about Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty, our guy. He just sold his first $1 million listing. Note number 2. He sold over $5 million in volume over the last 7 months.
Uh-oh.
So a couple episodes ago, we had said that he sold $3.5 million in like 5 months or 6 months or whatever. So he sold over $5 million volume over the last 7 months. And he has been recognized as one of Keller Williams' top producers in Southeast Louisiana, which is the top 20% of agents. How about that? These are all cold hard stats.
Facts.
I don't know what statistician's keeping up with it, but they are facts. They came from the man himself. And I also want to give a shout out to very loyal listener Alex Forbes. I didn't even think Blaine knew that he was doing this, but Alex sent me a text. He said, "Just want to let you know that Blaine has helped me out with 2 houses to rent. Sold my parents' lot, sold my parents' house, helped parents buy a house, helped my aunt sell her house, and helped my aunt buy a house. Dude is a machine." Is that not incredible? Like,
what a review.
Like, it always is interesting to, because we can sit up here and I can come up with as many, alliterations and metaphors to describe Blaine as being the best. But whenever you hear it come from somebody else, it's like everybody feels the same way whenever they get Blaine looped. Right? It's not just me saying he wants to be your friend, your neighbor, and your agent. Blaine is knocking down the business right now, and he wants you to give him a call or text. He's up all hours of the day. He will respond. I promise you that. His number is 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Also, shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network, bootcrewmedia.com, and on social media at Boot Crew Media. Boot Crew Media is all over the place. They had wink wink guys covering LSU from the press box this past weekend. They had guys covering Tulane. They have all kinds of content on bootcrewmedia.com, especially during football season, with the Saints not playing as well as we all thought they would. They have gambling advice. They have food reviews. You name it. It's on bootcrewmedia.com and at Boot Crew Media on social media. All right. What do you want to get to first, Luffy? You want to get to...
I wanted you to tell us about your experience going to the stadium, kind of what you did, and how was it covering the Tigers as a Big J?
I'm glad you asked. I got a personal media pass to cover the LSU Tigers for Boot Crew Media on
Jack
Saturday.
Wallace.
Shout out Jack Collada, who hooked it up with a press box pass and on the field and post game pass. Jack was going to come up to LSU, but he got reassigned as journalists do to go cover the Tulane game. So it was just me. Went up to the stadium. We tailgated for a while, drank a bunch of waters, ate a bunch of jambalaya.
That's right.
Then went into the stadium, went onto the field for a little while. It was kind of, didn't know too many people, but I shook a few hands and whatnot. Then we went up to the press box, ran into, recurring guests on the Out the Box podcast, Jacques Doucet, Scott Rabelais, Charles Hannegriff, Brian Holland, you name it. Everybody was up there. Leah Van, who has recently kind of made national news. But no, it was incredible. Sat in the press box, was live tweeting the game. Really, really acted like I was supposed to belong there. They had food and whatnot. It was just a great experience. And after the game, went on to the press conference in the locker room. That was cool. Got to see what it's all about. And I think the thing that I took away from the experience is that, like, that would be such a cool job to have as your actual job. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing Jacques, like he is laser focused on asking the right questions, paying attention to what players are saying, what coaches are saying, always thinking of his next way so that he can take that information, ask good questions to the player or coach that he's interviewing, and then recreate it whenever he goes on TV or Twitter and whatnot. So all that to say, shout out Rory. The one last thing to say, they have ample amount of Mr. Pibb in the press box. I was slamming Mr. Pibb up there. I got probably 3 or 4 refills. So
bang,
absolutely incredible. Great experience. And shout out to Boot Crew Media. And yes, they did print my name as Jack Wallace on my press box pass. So
that's your Big J name.
Yeah. I might have to go under, if I become too famous or whatever from a famous reporter, I might just have to use an alias.
Yes.
Which is only just changing my first name by like 3 letters, not changing my last name at all. No, overall great experience. I watched the game with a little bit more clarity than I normally do, right? Like normally we're tailgating all day and, we're not just drinking waters and eating jambalaya and we have a few beers and whatnot, but just being laser focused on actually like covering LSU and almost I felt like a reporter. It was very cool. Shout out to the guys at 446 Sports as well. They were sitting next to me in the press box and we became friends up there. They cover football in the Alexandria area.
Did you cheer in the press box?
I did. Slightly. I couldn't help myself. There were some drives like when Noah Kane had his 49-yard rush, when Jack Besh ran back the punt that got called back, when Chris Hilton caught his touchdown, when Brian Thomas caught his touchdown, it was very hard to not cheer. I definitely was a little bit more calm just being in the situation, didn't want to embarrass myself, but there were a few times where I slipped up. So yes.
That's all right. We'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. First time.
Didn't get kicked out though.
That's good.
It definitely could have been a lot worse, but overall great experience. Shout out Booker Media and Jack Collada. Very cool experience. I would love to do it again sometime.
All right.
Maybe all three of us can get a pass.
That's right. We need to. And we'll put Crane in our pocket and backpack.
Pocket. You gotta. You have big pockets. Mine are empty because of all the gambling losses I've been taking lately.
Well, the game was, we're back.
We're back. There you go.
Sorry for that little delay. So we held them 2 first downs, less than 100 yards, and offensively, we didn't punt. We went forward on a couple fourth downs, got a couple fourth downs, and it was the main key in this game was when we talked about it, just staying healthy. And unfortunately, we had a few guys get injured. Daniels went out, but he'll be good to go. Jay Ward did not play. BJ Ojulari did not play, but they're both going to be good to go this week. Armani Goodwin was hurt. He's day-to-day. I don't know if he'll go this week. I don't think that's been announced. I don't even know if they will announce it until closer to game time. Major Burns, I guess, was hurt last week in practice, correct?
So in the press conference, Brian Kelly did say that he's been cleared and whatnot, but it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks before he will take the field again.
Okay,
it was a neck injury.
Yeah, so anywhere from, it says 3 to 6 weeks. And then we just learned today, actually this morning, that Garrett Dellinger broke his hand. I heard that he had a little surgery to put a screw and a plate in, and then they'll, I guess, put it in the cast, and he'll come back and play against Tennessee, but he won't play this week. So I think they're going to slide Frazier to left guard, and then Bradford will slide back in at right guard. And that's a big loss. It sucks that we didn't, to lose Goodwin and Garrett Dellinger. That's a big part of your running game right there, because Armani's looked like our best back so far. And but other than that, Jaden Daniels is really efficient. He's starting to go through his reads more and more. I thought the offensive line did an okay job. They did a good job kind of confusing them at times, and it really sucks that we're not going to get to roll that same O-line out again, which would have been the 3rd week in a row. Any other major takeaways from the game? Jack Besh. Jack Besh returns that punt, which was, they call it a blindside block. Coach Kelly was not happy about that. I don't know if he was fired up about that, and really bad call. But I think Besh, and I was wondering why early on in the season he wasn't taking reps back there. I believe it was because he had that injury in the preseason, and they were giving him less work on special teams and all that, which I understand. But Besh was, is a sure-handed guy who can also break one. And like Coach Kelly said, he's fearless back there, and they're going to have to maybe tone that back a hair, but that's another dimension to special teams. We did miss a field goal. What else, John? What else?
I was just very happy to see the ball being spread around in the way that we did. You had
a lot of different guys got in the action. Brian Thomas,
correct. Hilton had a very nice catch. The emergence of Noah Kane at running back. I thought for sure that it was going to be John Emery breaking out at some point in this season. Maybe it's still to come, but it looks like to me that John Emery has kind of taken a step back, and I'd say that Noah Cain needs to be your second string running back when Armani Goodwin comes back.
And we almost kind of forgot about Noah Cain the last couple games. Didn't play that much. Played a lot against Florida State. Emery, haven't looked completely comfortable yet. Armani Goodwin's got that little burst to him. And then Josh Williams is really your third down back. He's in there most of the third and passing downs. I think he's doing, maybe the best job picking up protection and getting out and catching little screens. Brian Thomas, Chris Hilton, Neighbors, everyone really got in the action. Chris Hilton's really fast. It's nice to see each of those guys kind of coming along. Dre Jenkins had a few nice catches.
That's what I'm saying. When you're not mentioning Neighbors and Dre Jenkins, who are essentially like minus Kayshawn, who wasn't able to play this weekend and whatnot. Like when I forgot to mention them, that's how many guys are involved in this offense. I mean, that's like 6 or 7 guys that are all ready to go and contribute to this team. And one guy goes down, next man up. And that's something Brian Kelly emphasized in the press conference as well. It's like they feel comfortable, and the players have trust in the coaches that have trust in them to be able to come in, make a difference, next man up mentality. Like you said, Jack Besh, he's a pros pro. He will be playing in the pros. Like he everything about him as a football player on the field, he's a leader. He leads by example. He can break one if he gets the chance. Like you said, unfortunately, that was a tough call, but overall, that was my keys to the game. One, stay away from injuries, which I didn't like seeing. Jaden Daniels, it looked like he got a concussion from where I was at.
Yeah,
but it was his back, apparently. And then Armani Goodwin. I mean, we need those guys to be healthy.
Yeah,
we need those guys to stay healthy. But
Coach Kelly said it. I've sat up here and said it. We talked about that with the keys to the game last week. It's a thin team. It's a talented team in some spots, but it's a thin team. I do like how the staff chose to hold Jay Ward out, chose to hold B.J. Ojolari out. Yeah. I just think those are 2 guys you absolutely can't lose. Well, I mean, and in a game like last week, let's get some other guys experience, and because Jay Ward and B.J. Ojolari are veteran players. Set them out, get them some rest. Let's get them back healthy, and we're getting Joe Fouché back this week, which is going to be huge because we lost Burns. Slide Fouché in there, the transfer from Arkansas. Greg Brooks has played well too. Shout him out.
Yeah, he had a monster hit.
He comes up and lays the wood. He likes it.
He was one of the guys that one of the players that the media was interviewing after the game and whatnot. And somebody asked him about it. They're like, dude, when we didn't know you could hit like that or something like that. I couldn't hear, but he was like, bro, that's football. Like he's just a ball player, right? And he's goes in with all he has, and that more than anything to me is what I want to see from this team. An aggressive team, stays away from injuries, and on Matt House's defense, which has been phenomenal. I mean, we now have a large enough sample size. Granted, SEC play is coming up, right? But Matt House is the real deal. We know that.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's done a great job, and
holding a team to. I mean, this is NCAA Division I football. You hold them to 82 yards rushing and 2 first downs.
Yeah, and Makai Wingo stepped up in the place of Mason Smith. Roy and Wingo have done a good job in the middle. Harold Perkins continues to fly around the field and make plays. Savion Jones seems to be coming along. Ali Gay had his best game this season. So there's a lot to like on the defensive side, and they're obviously going to be tested here in the next month. But I think that's pretty much it for the game as far as any other notes you have.
Yeah, I wish the over would have hit. I was pretty confident in that. It was only 44 points, but when one team scores 0, it is kind of hard, especially when you're working on things and you're not just slinging the ball. One thing we haven't mentioned is Nussmeier got to play.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it just kind of flew under the radar because it was in the second half and whatnot. But Nussmeier looked a lot more like what most LSU fans originally thought. And Brian Kelly was asked that. Somebody said, was this the was this the Nussmeier that you saw in spring training? And he was like, yes, absolutely. Confident, slings the ball, just a team leader, and completes his passes, goes through his reads. He played very well. Very good to see a bounce back performance after the Southern game.
Yeah, and I think that Nuss, I don't think that I think he was really forcing it, and I kind of felt bad for him in that game. I didn't, I think I knew that that wasn't really him, and you see why, Brian Kelly and the staff liked him, and the competition was close because, one, they didn't want either guy, or really only Nuss would have had the option to transfer, but they didn't want him to transfer, so they have a backup quarterback because Jaden's running a lot. I think Nuss will have to play in a big game this year, in a tight game if Jaden gets knocked up.
Knocked up.
Knocked around. And
let's hope he doesn't get knocked up.
That would not be good. It is 2022 though. You never know. And
okay.
But he threw the ball well. He looked comfortable. He has a good arm. I think we saw all those things from him, and I do have faith if he has to come in the game. I really do. I know a lot of people were kind of shitting on him after Southern. But I think if the offensive line can give him that time, he can do a good job.
Yes. So it's great to have depth, and you're gonna it happens. It's football. You're gonna need it going into like we said this tough SEC stretch. I think as we kind of clean up the New Mexico talk, we can't clean up without mentioning Martine at Workbox.
No, Martine at Workbox. If you need a storage container, you need a porta potty, you need luxury restroom rentals, you need storage containers, you need portable offices. Those are pretty sweet. You got to call Martine at Workbox. It's 225-343-4886 if you need storage containers, portable offices, portable restroom rentals, roll-off dumpsters, the cleanest porta potties in the state of Louisiana. Call Workbox. Ask for Martine. It is 225-343-4886.
All right. Let's get to looking forward to this weekend. LSU heading up to Jordan-Hare. They'll probably leave on Thursday, Friday. I don't know. I don't know what the actual routine is, but
probably fly in Friday.
The spread opened up at, I believe, 8.
It opened at 7.5.
Or 7.5, and it has since climbed. I'm looking at -9 here for LSU, with the over/under being at 46 points. I think this is kind of surprising and kind of not, right? You see this LSU team that, yes, they lost to Florida State in the first game, but I feel like this line is as high as it is because you've seen this growth under Brian Kelly week to week. You've seen our talent show. We've showed sparks of brilliance. We've shown that we can beat Mississippi State, who was supposed to be, granted, probably better than we thought they were. But, I mean, if I was Auburn, especially, didn't TJ Finley not even play in this weekend?
Yeah, I thought that he was. Like Harsin said earlier in the day that it was like day to day. We're seeing how he does in practice. And then I think a report leaked that he wasn't going to play.
But all that to say, just looking at Auburn from a kind of from a bird's eye view, I mean, they played Mercer and San Jose the first 2 weeks, San Jose State the first 2 weeks, decent wins and whatnot, and then they got crushed by Penn State, 41-12. And
that quarterback is playing well.
And then they barely sneak away with the win against Missouri, who is at the bottom.
Yeah, right? Struggled a lot last week offensively. The Penn State quarterback did tear him up. And this is a lot of points, I think, going on the road to Jordan-Hare. That's a hard place to play. It almost scares me that that's how many points, that they're getting. But it's going to be a tough challenge. Their defensive line, we already know we have an offensive lineman out this week, Dellinger. Their defensive line's good. They have a couple good players on the D line. If it's windy from the hurricane, which is forecasted to be, this could be a really low scoring game. I think the total dropped from like 48 to maybe it's 44, 45
right now.
Okay, I saw 45 earlier when I looked. So the totals dropped, but it may kind of sneak back up if the weather gets better, which I think it is starting to turn around some. But
let's hope it turns all the way around.
Yes.
Right.
Because I think bad weather only favors them. Their quarterback, they're going to run like the read option. They have two good running backs, Bigsby and the other kid. I'm blanking on his name right now. But both, I think the weather, if it's better weather, favors us. Jaden through the air is going to be better than what they have through the air. I see it being somewhat low scoring, but it's going to be a tough matchup, and there's just no going to that stadium and rolling.
Yeah. One thing you can kind of, I guess that helps out. Obviously, we get Kayshawn back. Brian Harsin is playing for his job though.
Yeah.
Right? And I think
he was fired up. They won the national championship last week.
Well, he's about to be fired.
Yeah.
So he went from fired up to being fired, but that is scary. I agree with you, Lovey. 9 points on the road is a lot. I personally won't be touching this game with a 10-foot pole. As far as the spread goes, maybe might throw some on the under, but yeah. I mean, I think this weekend for LSU to be successful, you got to jump on them early. You got to let them know that LSU is here. You got to have Jaden Daniels spreading the ball out like he did this past weekend. You got to have Noah Kane, if Armani Goodwin's not able to go, hitting his holes, and John Emery being able to, and Josh Williams being able to, I guess, fill the gaps and get them rest and whatnot. But I think you got to spread the ball out, and our defense has to keep doing what they've been doing. Step it up, give up 0 points. I think I said that on the podcast last week. I said my key is for LSU's defense to give up 0 points. And look at that.
You and Brian Kelly, because Brian Kelly, you saw that clip of him the night before the game. He said the goal this week is a shutout.
Right. And he even said like how hard that is to do in college football. So I like I said, I'm not worried about the defense. I think we're going to be fine. It's just going to be, I think it's going to be stuff outside of LSU's immediate control that is going to be the hardest stuff for us. Going to Jordan Hare, being on the road, the hurricane, the craziness, the travel, that I feel is our only like true disadvantage.
Yep. All right. You want to get to little predictions?
Yes. So I'm predicting that they're going to key on Kayshawn Butte. Auburn, that is. The Auburn War Eagles, not the Tigers.
Yeah.
I don't.
Is that even a mascot of theirs?
I don't mess with that. I don't know. Somebody said that, and I didn't even know what
Never
they were
heard that
about.
before.
Yeah, I also heard Joe Buck on Monday Night Football say, we're going to ESPN will be in Death Valley this coming weekend. And they showed like Clemson and whoever. So, yeah, it was not even I thought he was being funny at first.
He must have misspoke.
Yeah, it's dumb. He's a horrible announcer. No, he's great. But I'm expecting Kayshawn Butte. I think we're going to spread the ball out this weekend. I think expect Kayshawn Butte to get open and expect Jaden Daniels to find him. I think Noah Kane is going to step up. Hopefully Armani Goodwin will be back and ready to play. But look for big games from our wide receiver core, because if there's anything Auburn's doing right now is saying, okay, Kayshawn's coming off a week of rest. And I think the guys that pardon my take, once you have a kid and you come back, you play better. I think that's what they say. But I think they're going to try to shut Kayshawn Butte down, and Jaden Daniels has to scan the field, go through his progressions, and find the open guy.
Yeah, I think Besh has a big week this week. I think the key is going to be just don't turn it over. If we don't go up there and turn it over, I think we're going to get the win. I think it's somewhere in like a 23-14 type game in that area of scoring. I don't see it being much higher than that. I mean, if the weather ends up being good, maybe we score more, but I think it's a low-scoring game. It's going to be a physical game. And I think it's one of those games where you look up and like the first half's already over because there was a lot of on the ground and the clock running.
I think it'll be probably even more low scoring than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Tank Bigsby running for 44 yards against Missouri. I mean, and I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I feel like Matt House's LSU defense is slightly better at the least to Missouri. So I'm expecting something like, I don't know. I'm gonna go a weird score like 18-12.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Just all
18,
field
13.
goals. No touchdowns,
please
all
no.
field goals.
Please no. I can't take that many field goals.
No, I mean realistically, probably 17-10, but 18-12, just to be a weirdo.
Okay. No, I like that score prediction. Rory?
Yeah. You want to FaceTime Rory right now? I think John James Crane Luke's bedtime is. I think we're probably no. We're not.
Yeah,
we're not going to FaceTime. He's How mad would you be if you just had a kid and you've been up for like the past week and a half, 2 weeks, and two idiots call you to ask you what your score prediction is for this weekend?
Not very happy, I don't think.
And then he just can't go back to sleep. I
bet he hasn't been sleeping much, but he's been pretty responsive. He's been talking to us a little bit. He's been sending us some adorable snaps. So.
Yeah. So while we're on that, I should have mentioned it earlier. My sister is making some out the box onesies.
Oh.
So she, if you saw, my nephew had one a couple years ago when he was an infant, and if anyone needs one while she's at it, making one for John James Crane Luke, hit me up.
All right. Yeah, hit John up. We also have some hats available still. We have gray and we have the navy. So if you want a hat, let us know. John, where did you hit the house in Tigerland this past weekend, didn't you?
I did. I went over to the house bar in Tigerland. It was lit up in there. The house bar in Tigerland on a game day, you're not going to beat it. I saw on their Instagram the other day they do 50-cent wings one night of the week. So it's the best bar in Tigerland. Shout out to the house bar. Shout out Jeff and Casey over there. Two guys that are making power moves. We'll get to their other power move in a second, but the house bar in Tigerland is where you want to be during football season and any other time of the year. They're constantly doing events. If you want to have a fraternity, sorority event, if you want to have your own private crawfish bowl in the spring, make sure to hit them up at the house bar in Tigerland. But at the very least, go there on game day. Like it's packed. They got the tent on the side. It's an all-around great time. And while we're at it, shout out Jeff and Casey. I think their crumble cookie store is opening this week, I believe, right? Am I wrong in saying that, James?
What's that?
Their crumble cookie store.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
it's opening this week in Lafayette.
I think Friday.
Thursday.
Thursday soft opening. Friday opening. Right.
So shout out to those guys over there. They are awesome. They help us out with tailgates. We're looking forward to our next tailgate. Not sure exactly when it's going to be, but we know that they're going to be there for us. Shout out to the house bar in Tigerland. Follow them on Twitter at Tigerland House and on Facebook and Instagram at House in Tigerland and on their website, houseintigerland.com. All right, mini segment. This is, I wish, what we should have done is gone live right when you heard the announcement that the LSU-Tennessee game was in the 11 o'clock slot.
Yeah,
I know you
had this on my list to bring up. Yeah, I was pretty hot for a couple hours. I mean, it's ridiculous. CBS. I'm ready for this to be over with CBS. I know we're gonna miss the music, but I'm not gonna miss the horrible scheduling that they do at times. They had 2 slots this week. They had the night game and they have the 2:30 game. Alabama A&M was obviously going to be the night game because you got the Jimbo Saban feud rematch. A&M beat them last year. And then you have number 1 Georgia against Auburn. Brian Harsin, like you said, John, might not be coaching that week. And
they're gonna get drubbed.
That game's going to be 56-3. And you have LSU, Tennessee. Say we win this week, we will be ranked. I will say we would be ranked 18th. If we win this week, Tennessee will come in as the number 5 team in the nation, 5 or 6, and they're passing up on that, which should be a really good game. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense.
So when I look at the slate for this weekend, it really, really doesn't make sense. You have Texas A&M, and at first I thought I wasn't reading this right, but Texas A&M and Mississippi State are playing this weekend. Guess who's favored? Not Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Texas A&M is
State's like a 3-point favorite, right?
3.5.
Yeah.
So just say, for example, A&M loses, they're sitting at 3-2 playing Alabama,
At Bama.
who's gonna destroy them. I
Well,
just
I understand why that's the night game, and CBS flex that out because it's Jimbo versus Saban. It's the rematch since they beat them last year. But
I
the
get it,
Georgia
but
Auburn game is really, I don't care if it's 11 o'clock. Sucks.
yes,
2:30 is not that bad.
2:30 is good for one a year.
And if the weather's good, 2:30 is fine.
Hopefully the weather will stay the way it has this past week. I haven't
Don't get your hopes up.
but I'm sure it's gonna they're gonna turn up the incinerator.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up.
The one thing I am hoping for is that they have a flyover.
Yes.
LSU loves to run the fighter jets over Tiger Stadium.
I love the flyover
on a day game. So I think they pretty much have to. Either that or you have some guys parachuting in, which is always cool. But yeah, I mean 11 a.m. It's like 2:30. 2:30. You can have a couple beers before you go eat lunch, whatever, and then you go to the stadium, and then you go out after. 11 a.m. It's like you got to wake up at 8:39 at the latest.
Yeah,
right?
Shit, nine's late if you're waking up at 9.
Not to say that you have to have a beer before the game, but
it also pisses me off about 11 a.m. games, John. The line, because everyone gets there at
what's lunch?
10:57, trying to get in, and
because
everyone's trying to get their last drink in, and then everyone gets there, and no one's there until the first quarter ends. It's ridiculous. 11 a.m. games should be, reserved for schools like Mississippi State and Missouri and Vanderbilt. Like it's ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason this game should be at 11 a.m. It sucks for recruiting. They've had to reschedule a ton of recruiting visits. That was a big visit weekend for us. The administration and the SEC pushed for it not to be at 11. And, CBS sucks. I mean, there's not really much more you can say. There's nothing they can do about it now. Just, get up early, eat your breakfast, have your mimosas, get to the stadium, get rowdy.
The one good thing about the 11 a.m. game is
you get to watch the rest of the games.
Well, and you can be home. Say you want to take a little nap before you go out Saturday night. You can do that as well. And another good thing, not to bring up too many good things because there's really not, but the Saints do play, I believe, at 8:30 Sunday morning. So they're playing in London. They play the Vikings this weekend at 8:30 a.m.
Well, that's this weekend. We're playing Tennessee in 2 weekends.
Forget
there wasn't 3 good things. It was just 2.
Yeah, I knew there was too many good things piling up, but
it's all right.
Anyway, the Saints do play at 8:30 this weekend. I believe the game is at 6. The game is at 6. So if you are a Saints fan, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch this game and get over to London for 8:30. So I might miss the first quarter or whatever, but
all right, John.
Hopefully the Saints.
I have another mini segment. It's really just a tweet. LSU started first basketball practice today under Coach McMahon. Sheldon Mickles tweeted that he started practice by breaking the huddle, sprinting to the other end of the floor where they were feeding him balls. He knocked down 7 and 11 from 3 in rapid fire succession. Coach McMahon started practice, sprinted 7 and 11 from 3. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. I'm fired up to watch a basketball team this year. I'm not going to lie. Women's and men's going to be really good. But we won't talk too much about that now.
I can't believe basketball season's already coming up. Like it's in the next month.
It's close.
It's in about a month, 6 weeks. But all that to say,
Pelicans start on October 19th, I believe. Their first real game, not preseason. Preseason starts really soon. It starts in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, this first little cold snap, it just seems like everything's piling up at once. The World Series is about to happen. Baseball season's about to be over with. You got basketball coming up. I mean, it's crazy times right now. Life's moving, but it's moving good, right? But
yeah, basketball's about 5-6 weeks out.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. Matt McMahon era. So,
all right. Picks. You want to read off how we did last week?
Well, I will, but before I do that, I want to give a shout out to DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media. Bet $5 on any team this weekend and get $200 in free bets. Promo code BOOT. Make sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. and place your bets through them and only them because they are the best and they are a great sponsor of Boot Crew Media. All right. We did okay last weekend. I looked at the college side. We did great college-wise.
Okay.
Great college-wise. I had Arkansas plus 2.5 against Texas A&M.
Thank you, James.
Texas A&M won by 2.
Thank you, James. I convinced him to take the points. If anybody did not listen to the last episode,
you did.
I sat here and begged him.
Now, Arkansas should have won the game.
Well,
they had their opportunities. Whatever. A cover's a cover. You had Florida plus 11 against Tennessee.
Yeah.
That was a very good game back and forth.
Yep.
Towards the end of the game, I thought that Tennessee was going to cover.
Yeah. Just thought it was too many points on the road. Even though Florida was on the road, I mean, that's always a rivalry matchup. That's a lot of points.
Yep.
But yeah.
And Rory didn't get to announce his picks on the episode last week, but he did text us before the picks came out. Ohio State minus 18. I think they killed.
Golly, so 3-0 on the college side.
Yes, 3-0, and then you flip it over.
As long as somebody hit the NFL pick.
Then you flip it over, and then you see, well, I won. The Bengals.
Nice.
The Bengals weren't going to lose 3 in a row. There was no way against the Jets minus 4.5, easy dub.
My pick was terrible.
The Steelers were plus 5.5 on Thursday night football last week. I don't even remember who they played. I watched so much football between then and now.
They had a chance. They had so many chances to cover that game, but that game was terrible. That was one of those games. The primetime games, whoever's scheduling the damn
Thursday, Sunday, and Monday have been some of the most boring.
It's awful.
Boring games I have ever watched.
They played. It was the Browns. It was.
They
had plenty of chances to make that game close, and then that was ridiculous. Bad pick by me. Hand up.
Who's the Browns quarterback right now?
It's Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. I was actually surprised by his performance.
I know they made him look like Michael Vick, and like the 1 week we betting some. But.
He looked decent. So and then Rory on
and Jacob Phillips. Shout out Jacob Phillips. He's the backup there, but their linebacker was out. He balled out. May have earned himself a starting spot.
Yes. And Rory in primetime, I believe it was the 49ers against the who was it? The 49ers against the Broncos.
Yes, Broncos.
And the 49ers lost.
Yes.
So I had the 49ers as well. That game kind of came down to the wire. Kind of a strange weekend of NFL football. We watched the games on Sunday together, James, and it was just an odd day of football.
Saints sucked.
Yeah, I don't even feel like dealing with that. My guy at work who fills me in on everything Saints said that the Red Rocket might be starting this weekend.
Yeah. So. I actually just guessed this morning, and I just sent a text to my friends and said I heard Jameis is starting this. I mean, I heard that Taysom is starting this weekend, and then like an hour later, all this stuff about Red Rocket came out. So I just guessed because I'm like, Jameis isn't going to play again. If his back is really broken, which it is, it looks like he's playing like it is. I was just guessing, and I said Taysom's going to start this weekend, and that came out about the Red Rocket and possibly starting. But you know what, John? If we went 4-2, and you bet all of our picks, you're up.
You win.
You're up. I mean, we're doing better than I thought. Just fade all my NFL picks, especially the one I'm taking today.
What are you taking this week in the college?
I'm taking Kentucky plus 7. It's at Ole Miss. I just think that Ole Miss is gonna get their first real test. I think Ole Miss probably still sneaks this one out, but wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky won. I'll take Kentucky plus the 7.
Yes. Okay. College wise, I'm looking through the slate and whatnot, and out of principle, I'm not going to pick Texas A&M, but I want to. Texas A&M's plus 3.5 at Mississippi State, but just because of those two videos, I cannot do it. I am going to take Georgia.
John, you want to take State though, right? In this game, you want to take A&M? Did you say that wrong?
Some reason I do, unless there's a reason not to.
No, I just think when the line's weird like that, you have to like it doesn't
Fade
make
yourself.
sense, right? No, you have to take those. I don't know. I thought that's what you were kind of gonna say at first, but
You
go
think
ahead.
you think a lot more about things like that than I do. I just am so stupid that I
No, I mean I just think that it's like well, why is
well, no, but
A&M?
what I was
Yeah.
saying, it's like the Chiefs we were talking about on Sunday. The Chiefs were playing against who was it? Like the Dolphins.
Oh no, Chiefs played the Colts, the winless
Chiefs
Colts.
played right.
Yeah, and
So-
but you knew the Colts were going to win that game. Like we sat there and talked about it before. That was such a weird line that we knew the Colts were going to win that game.
Yeah, just strange. And anyway, I go with my head all the time. So I'm gonna pick Georgia minus 28 against Mizzou. I think Georgia rolls. It's at Missouri, which is kind of strange that the number one team is going
42.
28. Did
Oh,
I say 42?
I thought you said 42. Sorry, man.
I don't
heard
know.
that
I'm
wrong.
looking at so many numbers, dude. My brain's fried right now. But 28. Oh no, I said they roll. I don't know. Georgia minus 28 at
Okay.
Mizzou. I mean Georgia's been kicking the crap out of everybody. They embarrassed Oregon on week 1. They didn't really beat Kent State this past weekend. They won 39-22, but you'd have thought it would have been a little bit worse. But
All right, I have for my NFL pick. This is one where the line doesn't make sense to me, but I'm still gonna go with my gut here. This is a it's a must win, can't lose game. Must win or can't lose for the 1 and 2 Cardinals. John,
okay.
what do you think? Is it a must win or is it a can't lose? They're 1
So
and
they
2,
play the
and they're playing
Panthers,
the Panthers,
and they're not favored
in
Wow.
Carolina. So isn't that weird? So then we
Yes,
should be
that's a
taking
weird-
Carolina, but I'm gonna say
Yes.
F it, and we're gonna take the Cardinals plus 1.5. Is that what you're seeing?
I got plus 1 and watching the game play out, it ended up making sense, So let's see. This is kind of the first time I have looked at the board. I
hate the board this week. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I do kind of hate it as well, but
The NFL board. I like the college board.
I have my eye. You know what's going to be a good game is the Bills and the Ravens. That is a good
game.
That is going to be a good game, but I'm not going to pick it. I wish I could bet on the Saints going to London, but for some reason I don't see us covering 3 against the Vikings. I don't know.
It's an 8:30 a.m. game, the opposite of prime time, so you'd expect Kirk Cousins to ball out.
So yeah, I did not think about
that. Is true though. His record is like 2-36 in prime time, which is crazy.
Dude, wow, this slate is terrible. I mean, it's not terrible. Like the games are going to be good and whatnot, but I don't like a lot of these lines. All right, since I have to pick something because I'm on the clock here. Sorry, this is horrible podcasting. But I'm going to take the Titans plus 3.5 against the Colts. I think the Colts are riding high after beating the Chiefs. I think they are still the Colts. Matt Ryan ain't the guy. Derrick Henry is going to get going eventually. So I'm going to take the Titans plus 3.5 at the Colts. And we have to get better about texting Rory before we start recording. So can you hit Rory up, and then that way we won't announce his picks on the episode, but we'll at least have them in our bank.
We'll get him to tweet them out for the people.
Just so, dude, because people are going to start asking questions like, is he doctoring his record, right? So
that is true.
We'll text Rory and tell him Crane needs a pick too. We'll give Crane a bonus pick for this week.
Yeah, we'll put like 2 baby treats. Oh, I guess he's not eating baby treats yet. He's a little young, but
like crushed Gerber peas or something.
They have these little things. They're like baby
Carrots.
treats. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, the other day, shout out my nephew. I was looking in our fridge. We keep the sliced cheese in the drawer at the bottom of the fridge. And I went in there to go grab it, and there was a Go-Gurt in there.
Yeah.
And I crushed it.
There you go.
It was great. And then I had a Danimals in there too.
Just eating your nephew's food.
Yes. Well, they moved out and it was about to expire. It might have already been expired. I don't know. But all that to say, thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. This is the Out the Box podcast, and it wouldn't be possible without our great sponsors. Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty, killing it. Keller Williams, an equal opportunity housing partner. Each office independently owned and operated. DraftKings, Workbox, LLC, and the House Bar in Tigerland. And shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network for presenting the Out the Box podcast. Shout out to Boot Crew Media for a great weekend last weekend. It was an absolute honor to cover the LSU Tigers in a reporting role.
Oh, breaking news. Aaron Judge has broken the record.
4 home runs.
61 home runs. Yep.
Wow.
I know it's definitely the Yankees record.
He's done it. Number 61. He's been chasing history, and now he makes it. He and Roger Maris are tied with 61 home runs, the most anybody has ever hit in a single season in America.
Start spreading the news. Sorry, Rory. Yankees are winning it all this year.
No. The Stros. It's
going to be Stros, Yankees, or Dodgers.
Dude, I didn't realize. I looked at the Dodgers the other day. I looked at their record just randomly.
It's ridiculous.
They're like 6 games ahead of the Stros.
They clinched first place like 2 months ago. Like first place overall.
World Series. Looking forward to that. Going to be electric. And did we have anything else? I don't know how many times we can shout out John James Crane Luke in one episode, but I'll do it again.
Shout out John James Crane Luke.